fight and win for we're from Tigerland.
Who would have thought Ryan Mansell was going to be the first player to cop a suspension for pushing a player into a contest? Who could have imagined it was going to be a Richmond player to suffer the first suspension after being the initial team to lose a player through injury due to it? Couldn't script this kind of shit. Now, first and foremost, I want to say straight off the bat that I don't disagree with 3 weeks being a valid suspension for that type of action and the end outcome of that action, because it's dangerous, it's unnecessary, and we don't want to see it in the game. What I do have a fundamental problem with is the bullshit inconsistency that the AFL MRO have on this issue. That's the issue, okay? So let's take a look at a few incidents. We'll go through them that happened previously. Ruben Ginby, whatever you want to call him, pushes Sam Lawler into the contest. Sam Lawler comes away with a fractured jaw and concussion, so a worse injury than what's taken place to O'Connell on the weekend. Nothing. Not a fine, not a suspension, not even reviewed by the MRO. Play on. Ticked off. Brandon Starcevich, probably it was a day or two later, pushed into a contest by Dan Curtin, gets concussion. Play on. Ticked off. All okay. Jordan Sweet pushes Mitch Owens into a contest, injured shoulder. Thankfully not concussion. Play on. All good. Kieran Briggs gets pushed into a contest by Darcy Cameron. Now, I will classify with this one. The Darcy Cameron one out of this whole group is probably the most okay one in terms of the action that was done in the contest. I don't think his was as deliberate or as, I don't know, harmful as what the other ones were. I think because I think he might have marked the ball or punched the ball. But he still made contact and put Kieran Briggs in a vulnerable position, which resulted in a concussion, and the stretcher car had to come out to take him off the ground. Nothing. Ticked off, play on, all okay. Then a memo goes out. They've had 4 cracks at this to try and get this right, the AFL, before the season actually gets underway properly. And they now then send a memo out saying we're going to keep a close eye on it. We're going to ramp up looking at these type of things. And then Mansell does what he does with O'Connell. Concussion, bang, 3 weeks. Match review officer Michael Christian graded the incident as careless conduct, high contact, and severe impact. Now, the grading might be relative and fair enough, but where was the same grading for the first 3 or 4? You had the chance to set the precedent in a pre-season game to set yourself up for the season, but you half-assed it, you wimped out, and now you pretty much green-lighted that action by not punishing it from the start. You green-lighted the action by not punishing it. And now you give Mansell 3 weeks. And like I said, the 3-week part, I don't disagree with the grading. I disagree with the inconsistency being applied by the AFL. It's absolute bullshit that they can just run their own race and now we've got players being rubbed out for it. Either do it from the start or don't do it at all, because it's just crazy. And again, I'm all for protecting the players, protecting the head, but like I said, this should have happened from the start. It shouldn't have got through 4 examples before we thought, shit, maybe let's apply something now. Why don't we protect the players from the get-go and be consistent all the way through? Absolute madness. Anyway, I reckon the Tigers will appeal it, but for those saying Richmond should appeal it based on all those examples I just gave, it can't happen because the AFL have got this magical loophole where you can't actually use previous examples as precedents in a case. You have to go with other evidence or other bits of information. You cannot actually refer back to a previous example because they do that because lawyers are very good at being able to exploit loopholes and inconsistencies within the tribunal system. So now they can't do that anymore because they were getting too many things overturned. So yeah, that's great. We can't refer to that. I reckon we'll appeal it nonetheless. And look, I do also want to say that I really hope O'Connell and anyone else who's been obviously put in these situations is okay for as well. That's the number one priority. But in terms of how the AFL manage this and the fans and what everyone else thinks of it, like it's not even Richmond supporters that are confused by this. It's a lot of opposition supporters that are confused as well. So just get your shit together. Have the balls to punish these things from the start to set a strong precedence so we don't end up in this spot down the track. That's the video. That's it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Was 3 weeks fair enough? I think it was, but should the AFL be more consistent about how they apply these things? Let us know.